Audre Lorde, born on February 18, 1934 in New York City, was a prominent African-American writer, poet, feminist, and civil rights activist. Her work and activism have had a profound impact on feminist theory, intersectionality, and the fight for social justice. Throughout her life, Lorde used her powerful voice to address issues of race, gender, sexuality, and class, challenging societal norms and advocating for marginalized communities. Early life and education. Audre Lorde was born to Caribbean immigrant parents, Linda Belmar and Frederick Byron Lorde. Growing up in Harlem, New York, she experienced the intersectionality of oppression firsthand, facing racism, sexism, and homophobia. These early experiences heavily influenced her later writings and activism. Lorde attended Hunter College High School, where her love for poetry and literature developed. She went on to earn a bachelor's degree in library science from Hunter College and a master's degree in literature from Columbia University. Throughout her education, Lorde faced the challenges of being an African-American woman in predominantly white academic spaces. This served as a catalyst for her exploration of identity and social inequality. Writing and literary contributions. Audre Lorde's writing played a crucial role in reshaping feminist theory and exploring the intersections of identity. Her poetry and essays tackled themes such as racism, sexism, homophobia, and the complexities of personal identity. Lorde published numerous collections of poetry, including The First Cities, Cables to Rage, and The Black Unicorn, all of which showcased her distinctive voice and powerful storytelling.
Audre, do you read other people's poems?
I read other people's poems when I can find poems that move me, yes. Unfortunately, some of it's very upsetting all too often, but I still come back to it because it gives me a great deal. Poetry, after all, I think is one of the few ways in which we're allowed to touch emotion, to be reached by other people, in a sense, some of the clearest sharing of experiences that we have. And so I keep coming back to it over and over again.
Is this especially true for women?
Yes, I must say, women and black poets who are writing are, as far as I'm concerned, much more satisfying in terms of sharing experience and evocative language. I think that so much of what is called poetry becomes constructs that are erected in the same way so many of our buildings and other artifacts are, to separate us rather than to make bridges or to pull us together.
Buildings that nobody lives in.
Buildings that nobody lives in, buildings that no one enjoys looking at, buildings that serve no other function except separation.
One of Lorde's most influential works is her collection of essays titled Sister Outsider. In this book, she discussed the importance of embracing differences and rejecting societal expectations. Lorde introduced the concept of the mythical norm, which refers to the standard imposed by society, perpetuating the marginalization of those who do not fit within that norm. She emphasized the significance of embracing and celebrating diversity, highlighting the experiences of marginalized individuals. Intersectionality and activism. Audre Lorde's work was deeply rooted in the principles of intersectionality, a term she popularized. She believed that all forms of oppression were interconnected and that understanding and addressing these intersections were crucial for achieving true social justice. Lorde's activism focused on empowering women, particularly women of color, to challenge systems of oppression and create change.
30 years ago, the first time I came to Washington, my family and I couldn't eat ice cream in a drugstore here because we were black. Now, since then, I have come to Washington many times to demonstrate and to testify to different aspects of myself and my beliefs. And I see many familiar faces from those past marches here today. For lesbians and gay men have always been in the vanguard of struggles for liberation and justice in this country and within our communities. The first national conference of third world lesbians and gay men met in Washington over the past 4 days, and it was an outstanding success. We had third world lesbians and gay men as delegates from over 40 states, third world lesbians and gay men from Mexico, from Canada, and from England. Now, we have all come together to demonstrate our power as lesbians and gay men in behalf of our own rights. And this is the beginning of a new front, for we are saying to the world, that the struggle of lesbians and gay men is a real and particular and inseparable part of the struggle of all oppressed people within this country. I am proud to raise my voice here this day as a black, lesbian, feminist, committed to struggle for a world where all our children can grow free from the diseases of racism, of sexism, of classism, and of homophobia. For those oppressions are inseparable. The question always is, what kind of a world do we want to be a part of? And affirmation and work does not stop with this march on Washington. Each of us has a responsibility to take this struggle back to her and his community, translated into daily action. The National Conference of Third World Lesbians and Gay Men and this march today were once only visions of what could be. Now all of us have made it our reality. Let us carry this solidarity that we are professing here today back with us into our everyday lives, tomorrow and the day after and next week and next year. And let it be reflected in a renewed commitment to struggle for a future where we can all flourish, for not one of us will ever be free until we are all free.
As a lesbian, Lorde advocated for LGBTQ+ rights and visibility within feminist movements. She co-founded the Kitchen Table, Women of Color Press, a groundbreaking platform for publishing works by women of color, further amplifying their voices. Additionally, Lorde was involved in civil rights activism, speaking out against racial discrimination and participating in protests and demonstrations. Legacy and influence. Audre Lorde's impact on feminist theory and activism cannot be overstated. Her writings and speeches continue to inspire and empower generations of activists. Lorde's work laid the foundation for intersectional feminism, which acknowledges the overlapping and interconnected nature of oppression faced by individuals. By encouraging marginalized voices to speak out and fostering a sense of community, Lorde helped shape a more inclusive and equitable feminist movement. Lorde's emphasis on self-care and self-empowerment has also resonated with many. She highlighted the importance of self-expression, self-love, and embracing one's unique identity. Her works have served as a source of solace and empowerment for those who have felt marginalized or silenced. Audre Lorde's contributions as a poet, essayist, and activist have left an indelible mark on feminist theory, intersectionality, and the LGBTQIA community.